So, hello to our Seal series, and today we're gonna make a cube deck and talk a little bit about cube. We talked about Premier New Hope Sealed, where you are happy if you get a 2-0 starting side. We talked about episode 1 Sealed, where you have a starting interrupt if you are lucky to draft this one, and can put out a starting effect, and where you can get objectives like invasion if you're lucky, water if you're lucky, senate, or warp you can also get, but this is a little bit hard without the virtual interrupts. We talked about Death Star 2 Sealed. A quick tip here, I forgot to say, we said that it's pretty drowning to make a deck because you have so many fixed cards, and it's very few variety between the drafts because you only get few boosters. This can also be a positive aspect, so you could prepare a deck here. I show you this real quick. You could go to Deck Builder, you could upload one sampled deck you see here. So here should be the pre-constructed sample decks here. So you could load this, you could save it as another deck, you could cut this down to already 40 cards or less, or something like 35 cards, and then you could add the stuff you get from the booster packs. But now we want to play cube, so there are 2 cube seals leagues, and the rule that you can pull 1 battleground side per game from your reserve deck, we don't have that rule in cube. So the biggest thing is you want something to get your activation up, and if you draft some effects which can pull sides or systems, it is really good. Otherwise, we have to. And you can also draft the starting interrupt, which lets you pull 3 effects, so it's also good if you get good effects. Clownfish, for example, because we are not playing with shields here, this effect is shielded. If you draft him, it's really great. If you start with, especially if you have it with dark, because you can put it out first, and then light can't put it out, and has basically a lost force in his deck. Yeah, and what's more, let's just sign in and check later. So there are 2 cubes. A fixed cube is without objectives and without shields. So all those guys who want to play open, no shields, it's a good way to get into virtual cards, because the cube is, you get booster packs which includes cards from a fixed variety of cards, and there are many virtual cards in it you can draft. And here objective cube with no fixed card, but some fixed cards which you get from an objective pack. We will see that in a minute. So let's start with objective cube. Not many players play it. When cube first arrived on the scene, almost everybody tried it, but yeah, it's a bit drowning to make a deck. But we played. I talked with Ryder, a good player who always plays it, so he will make a deck too. And if he's ready with his, I don't know if it's today or on another day, we will play a game. And as more players play it, the more fun we have with this league, because I love cube. So join in with 5 gold. Here are the packs you get. You get 2 objective packs and some normal packs. Deck Builder. Now it should pop up here. Go to packs. So you get 2 objectives for each side. And depending on the other cards you draft from the 7 other packs, 7 dark side, 7 light side packs. You decide which objective you want to play. And sometimes you draft a combat readiness deck. So if you don't want to play a objective at all, it's also fine. So we have map. The problem a little bit with map is I think it has some restrictions. So if you draft many Jedis, many Dark Jedis, you can't play them here. And then I wouldn't play that objective if I don't draft any good Dark Jedis, but a lot of those guys. How are they called? Resistant, I think, is so bad at names. But then it's definitely good to have especially if you draft some of these guys to get a use pile pull. So these are the fixed cards for that objective to get the objective running. And Imperial Entanglements. That's even worth. So we have 2 objectives which restrict our the cards we are allowed to play. Here we can only play Imperials. So if we don't draft good Imperials, but a lot of Kylos or something like that, we can't play them if we want to play Imperial Entanglements. So let's see what light side objectives we get. I would have rather get something like CCG, where you own a non-flip CCG, where you can make use of the force pile pull. These are usually good objectives to get. That's also okay, but usually you don't get many spies or troopers, so you can't make a lot of use of this effect. But we will see. At least all objectives here have some activation pullers, so we can pull some sides. That's always a good thing. And agents in the court. Whew. We draft something like wild card, or we can also use this stuff on the other deck. Maybe we get a slip sliding away, not slip sliding away, but the one you can, when you put out a system, you can play a objective side. Maybe we get some of these starting interrupts, then we can play without an objective. So let's see what we get. I go with light side first this time. This is good for agents in the court. This is always good, but it's a little bit expensive if you don't get like my father before me. This is also good if you want to be on Tatooine. So you get really good cards. You see, it's a mix of non-virtual cards, and you know that from the Pound Seal League, and virtual cards like this one or that one. Yeah, or that one. That one. Here we have a spy. Here we have a trooper. This is worth considering playing our no idea. We can pull the tentative with our objective. Another charger is also good for agents in the court. No blasters yet. So what you see, while I'm opening these packs, I make the thought processes, which cards I see which can benefit one of these 2 objectives. Since there are no shields, Altar and Sense are really great cards here. So if we have a layer, this one is really good. We could also start Throne Room, but then we need a good activation platform. Here's the clownfish. So while no card here, you can stack one card there. And then if you draw Destiny, you can exchange it. And if you have a high Destiny in the deck, you can always save it to stack it there if you want to crack an important immunity. But if Darkside has Clownfish out, you can't play it. So it's unique. And yeah, they get first action. Sabine, I love that card. This card is also good since we have the Protector. So we want to go on Tatooine. We get a lot of use pile pulls. Chopper, nice card. And this layer was a spy. Bail Organa Attentive, great to have. There are some pretty good cards. This one we can pull with our effect. But this effect is not immune to alter. So if we start heating with metal defense, we can't start this effect. But we can also pull that one with our no idea. I think we play no idea. We could run this one. Also, we are not using any vehicles just for the limiting of the Destiny on the battleground sites, on sites where we occupy the system. Go to cards, select light. I'm going with no idea, I think. So we may not deploy Jedi. That's the downside. I saw the Luke, but we don't get the discount, and 8 is too much anyway. We don't have another Luke, I think. So if we play against something like Bring Him Before Me, this could get really hard. So we need Scarif System, Data Vault, and War Room. This we put in anyway. Data Vault and the tapes. Good. Stone. Stardust. So this is no Jedi. We could play her. We play her. If 2, I put 2 in and maybe cut it, alter to cancel sense. This one, I put it in, but so we could pull that with our Admiral's Order, and then we could pull a guy with this ship, Put it in, but I don't think we'll play it. We can't pull that from our objective. That's not a Rebel starship, and we can only pull Rebel starships. So, as I said, I usually put too much stuff in to then cut it later. We can't play Jedi, but we have here lightsaber, so we could make use of Clash. We can pull that one with this ship because it's not a pilot, and we can pull a non-pilot, and it's one of the best spies. I mean, in open I would play him too, open format. Clownfish, this one, So only rebel troopers are spies, though this doesn't apply to those clone guys. Just for your information. This one is nice. He adds a destiny with a spy. Control is always nice to cancel Sense or Alter, which are not shielded here, as I said. We need the War Room. This would be an epic fail. To not have all stuff out we need for the objective. We have so much stuff for the use pal pull. Should we play agents? Can't play that one, that's a Jedi. It put too much in, as I said before, and then we can just... I have not many blasters. If I had many blasters, I could play the blaster ping effect, which makes damage. Can't play that one. This is no Jedi. Destiny 6, why not? Sometimes it's good to play the docking bay too. You have also the option to get your stolen data tapes to space. Do we have the farm. So we could also start this and still play the objective. Put our pulling guys like Leia or Chewie to Tatooine. I mean, it's only a drain of 1, so we don't want to over deploy there. But if we need some stuff, this Seal League is you play with 45 cards. We have much too much, but I just put all in. So I save it again and reload it. And then we will put out what we don't need. Doesn't load. Here we go. So this works only on Tatooine. If we deploy to Tatooine, we only would go down with our pullers, so we don't need that. We could start strike planning to pull General and Jar Jar. He's a good option if we have leaderships. We don't have leaderships. He's a good option against any kind of droids. We can face some droids. So when I'm cutting stuff here, I always think, would I rather have this or this or that? Which card is good on its own, or which card needs another card to be good? And this general has a little bit of a synergy with that one, but we don't have anything like Ansing Watering Hole where we need so many different aliens on the table. Also, it's not like in Agent of the Court, if a non-Tatooine side is on table, you have to occupy one side with a non-unique guy of from your rep species, which would be Gungan here. So we would need this one, and this would our only chance. Would be our only chance to flip our Agent in the Court. So we don't need it here, I think. This one is good on its own, but not so good forfeit. This one also good, but we don't have this one. Do we have? We have snubs. We could play this 2, the 6 for the clownfish. I would start this one, and clownfish. But if Darkside starts clownfish, we could start strike planning. Strike planning, we could pull this one, and that one. I think one here is enough. That's a good anti-spy protection of our war room, and we can pull it, but we don't have a Y-wing to pull, so it would just be spy protection. Commander Cody with Rex. Do we have Rex? No. So we still 5 cards to cut. Pretty fast this time, but it's not the perfect version. I just wanted quick here. So all these ships, this not, but all other ships can be pulled with our objective. I don't think it's worth it to run this here. If we get this one and maybe get with see around kit our Bail Organa. This one is also really nice to have because all our force drains at Battlegrounds with Alderanians is R+1. So if we go down to our farm, which we pull with our starting effect, and we put her down, we add 1 to the force drain, so we drain for 2 here, if I'm not that mistaken. When Paladin red also is red, no. But it's good to have some pilots. We lack a little bit on pilots. So we have one here, but this one we don't want to use that on space 1. We don't want to use that on space 2, I think. This one I would like to get a pull with this one. Menace Fates is nice, but I don't think we need Mandalorian Suvrip. Can't be cancelled, so you don't want to rely on that. We don't have C3PO or yeah, we don't have C3PO on table, so it costs 3 force. Don't need that. We have Let's only play one of those. We let the clash in. It's nice to have. This one is really nice if we occupy the system. But we don't have battle order or something like that. So maybe a little spy protection is not bad, because they can drain here for free. Yeah. What is his name? So 2 cards to cut. Don't know if we need that one. It's nice to have, but I don't expect so many weapons. There could be some EPPs like we have. And we have scrubs, so we don't have any arrest order. So we don't get any forfeit bonus on our little guys. But we could use Nebron Slate if the opponent also doesn't have that. So this is also not pullable. But it's our only 6, I think, and we want some high destiny for our clownfish. No, we have this. Oh, we have this too. But we want to play that one. Strike planning is too good. This. Don't think this fails. Let's win the drain race. But we still have some pilots. And we have a good... We have not that big of a space package, but we have good space with this one who adds with a snub fighter. We have another snub fighter we can pull. This one cancels the immunity of attrition. This one is the best you can have with Bail Organa. So we can possibly drain for 2 in space. We can drain for 2 here with our layer if Bail Organa is in space. We can drain for 2 here, and we can ping for 1 with our stolen data tapes. I think that's not the worst cube deck. So this is Objective Cube. Just show you real quick what dark side cards you can expect, but we're not making 4 decks here, which it would take too much time, but just that you can see. Also ping interrupt, not picking effect. If you get maybe CCT, this is really nice to start with, because you get the weapon from the objective package, but we haven't drafted it. We have to look out for Imperials, for possibly playing Imperial Entanglements. These are nice cards for that one, or for map stuff. So all these nice cards we can't play if we are playing Imperial Entanglements. I love Imperial Entanglements. Before it was nerfed, it was my favorite deck. Here's the Clownfish. You want to play that one since it's not shielded here. But if you don't draft good Imperials, forget it. These are the guys you want for your Imperial Entanglements. I would rather see something like Rob's here, where you can play others, but can benefit from good Imperials too. Strike planning. This is one of the best ships in open for scum when you have a good smuggler like Wolf. Wolf? I don't know. I saw the grabber interrupt for this one. So if you get 2 or 3 of these grabber interrupts and this one, it's really nice. Because if you have 2 or 3 on a 45 card deck, it's more likely that you have it in your opening hand. There is some map stuff. Yeah. And quick for the fixed, it's the same, only that you have no objective. You sign up for 5 gold as an objective cube. You get the packs, but this time you get also the normal packs, and then a pack with fixed cards. So go here to fixed. This is the fixed pack with starting interrupts like this one, some systems, some sites that if you don't draft any good sites or system, that you have something to start with. And the same for the light side. So let's say you draft in your packs the other starting interrupt where you can start a system and start an objective side. Maybe you draft Imperial Insurrection where you can pull the docking bay. Maybe you draft some Cloud City celebration, and then you can build a deck around that. So let's open this pack too, that you can see what you expect. Here, Imperial Rest Order, good for activation since you have no objective which can pull sides. It's always good to have such souls. Or this interrupt to pull the blockade flagship side if you draft the tier 2. So here in fixed, you don't have any restrictions. You can basically build a main sticks. The best characters, but most important stuff, think about your activation, because you can put the best characters in. If you can only deploy a half character each turn, if we have to save two turns for one guy, that won't be good. So this is obviously a really good card if you have Nolata and some of these ships, like we drafted the Chopper Space Cruiser, you could retrieve it. This is always nice to draft if you draw it, and not for Destiny, because the Destiny could be better. Good card. It's a good way to learn virtual cards, and don't get into a meta where you play against the best decks or something, but you learn the cards while you draft them. Then you play 2 weeks with this deck, and then there is another draft. You learn new cards. You see familiar cards, and I would always put this one in, not because I want to play it. Maybe you can play it if you have but because of the Clownfish. If you draft the Clownfish, you can stack that there, and then you have a 7 ready always if you need it. So did you see we even drafted the side for our, what is this here? For our mall, and we drafted mall. So this could be your starting location. Maybe you can also draft the new starting interrupt slip sliding away, so you could play that and another battleground side, but I haven't seen that one in our draft, so unfortunately we can't make that. The light side packs. So maybe when I'm ready to play with Ryder, one of the next days, I go over the decks I made a little bit, 5 minutes, and then play the game. But I won't stream 1 hour deck building or half an hour deck building. Also, my decks where I can think about without talking are usually a little bit better. I most of the time lose when I'm playing on stream. It's really good. But if you play that one, can't play another Chewie, you can't play another Han. And you have to keep that in mind if you draft Mara with lightsaber and you draft Mara's ship and you think, yeah, now I go down in space and beat the crap out of this little Y-Wing. And then you can't deploy it because you forgot that Mara Jade is already on table on a battleground side training for 1 whole time.